Jin Wang is racist. How does he compare to his classmates when it comes to racist attitudes? Is he better or worse? Explain.
I don't think he's actually a racist. Like, he says things that could be taken as like derogatory, maybe a little racist. Like when he calls Wei Chen like a fresh off the boat. Like he doesn't say it in like a hurtful way, like some of the other people that said racist things towards him and Wei Chen.
I agree with that. I don't think he's racist. He's just a character showing his problems as an American-born Chinese kid. And to the second part of the question about his classmates, I use the example on page 96 when the two boys were walking past Yin, Wei Chen, and the girl, and whatever Wei Chen's girlfriend was, and they were calling chinks and like goop bumps, and that's like a racist comment compared to some of the things that Yin had said in previous parts of the book that were probably just like comes out of his mouth because that's just like what he's used to.
I agree with that.
Okay. I said like I don't think he's racist, but I think that some of the comments he makes like can be taken that way but it's not him like truly believing that like those things are bad. Like when he calls Wei Chen like fresh off the boat and like or is like says something like mean to him, it's like after someone has like made those comments to him and I feel like he's like deflecting his anger or like how he's feeling hurt off of it and trying to like make himself feel better. But it's not necessarily that he like thinks that like Chinese people are like worse than others.
Yeah.
Definitely like reflecting ideas that are imbued in culture, and he starts to believe those ideas over and over. When people start to say them over and over and over again. And I think on page 191 when he called Wei Chen FOB, I think that he was just projecting his own insecurities onto Wei Chen.
Yeah, I think like kind of going off what Adam said earlier about how like he's not really racist. I think there was one that was kind of borderline because at this point we already at the end of the book we know that Danny is Jin Wang. So I think there's a comment on page 123 when Melanie is like confronting him about like last night and how like Jinky acted towards her, and she starts like trying to back away because in Danny's mind or Jin Wang's mind she's being racist towards him, and then he's like, I'm not like him, which is sort of like racist in a way, but I think that's like the closest we get. Otherwise it's more like an insult to like Wei Chen rather than being racist towards other people.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to what Adam said, I think in a way like Jin is like brainwashed to believe that like he's not as superior as like the Caucasians in his school. And then on page 97, like when he has like in the thought bubble, he like wants to have blonde hair, like he's just not accepting of his own identity, I guess.
I agree with that he's like brainwashed, but arguably we are also brainwashed by society into racist comments. That doesn't mean just because he's brainwashed he isn't racist. Like when Wei Chen first comes to the school, he tells him speak English, and that's something that could be easily interpreted as a racist comment. It's not that Jin may not necessarily believe in his heart of hearts that everybody should speak English, but he's projecting racist ideas onto other people, and that's where he has an issue, because you might not believe it deep down inside, but if you're projecting that, you are coming across as racist. And you also see later in the book on like page 111, Danny is just utterly terrified of Chin Ki and what Chin Ki is doing to his surroundings and whatnot, and it just kind of shows like a terror within Danny at people who are different. And because Danny is Jin, it's like saying that Jin is terrified of being different from everybody else, and in a sense trying to change that and projecting the ideas that what he is wrong is him being racist.
I really wouldn't use the word brainwash, just because that's a really like strong and has like a negative connotation on it. Yeah, it's like racist comments, but I don't think brainwashed is the right word. I would say it's more of society's culture and how that's being projected onto him. Because you could go to another country and they have a whole different looking at a way of life, and then you're gonna call them brainwashed. Like, I just don't think it's the right word for the situation.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was kind of racist, but only dogs or cats, whatever one it was. And then, just kind of, he's being racist to his own culture, basically, but he's not trying to like hurt anyone else.
I agree with that. I think he's just trying to like be racist with his own culture. Like when he first when Chen comes to the school and the teacher says this guy just moved here from China, and like in page 36 panel 3, like Jin Wang says something made me want to get him out. Like he didn't, like that just says like he just feels anger toward like with Chen. Like it's not he's technically being racist to him, but he's not a racist person. He's racist to his own culture, like people that look like him.
I feel like he's not racist because like whatever he did, he like kind of like what he did like sounded like racist because of what he's like around, like how like his classmates were like when he came, like he was new to school, and then his classmates was like kind of trying to be racist, and then he thought that he would do the same thing and he would get along with them. I think he was just trying to get like to fit in.
I think that's a good point. Like, it seems like everything that Jin does is to try and fit in, and if he adopts attitudes that are wrong, he's thinking that it's gonna help him fit in, but it doesn't always do that.
Yeah, like in page 37, like he says speak English, and then he kind of like gives luck, like trying to like push Wei Chin away from him, so like his classmates would laugh at him. But in page 40, we see that they became friends, which it kind of shows that in deep heart he doesn't really like believe in those things.
I also think that how he changed his looks and his name to Danny, and then he's white, just looks like an ordinary American boy. I think that like he's technically able to be racist to that culture, to the Chinese culture, because he's not like that Asian kid, but in reality, like he is. He just is hiding his identity.
Kind of going off that, there's a page on page 61, the first panel. It's a parallel to when Jin Wang called out Wei Chen for talking Taiwanese, and for when Jin Wang turned into Danny. It's when right after the Monkey King gets out of the cave after shapeshifting into a humanoid form, and he sees the little monkey with the shoes on his feet, or shoes on his ears, and he says, "Don't do that, little one. Put them on your feet," basically. And that's like the same thing. It's just kind of like, this is the new way we're gonna do things. It's not mostly a racist comment, but it's just like, this is the new society and you're in. You gotta do this kind of things to fit in.
I think, kind of going off of that, and Amy said that, like, a lot of the things that we hear Jin say, or like what he does, especially to Wei Chen, like, I think we would consider it more racist if it was coming from like one of the white classmates. Like, if he said like, "You're in America, speak English," if like I said that to a Chinese person, like, I think that would sound really racist. So I think it kind of affects how we like view him and what he's saying, because he like himself has experienced that, and like because he's Chinese too.
I think that the reason that none of us are really like fully considering it racist is because we know his intentions are not racist. We know that he's trying to distance himself from Wei Chen because he's embarrassed of his own heritage, and that's a common theme throughout the entire book. And he's just trying to fit in.
I think it's his form of like assimilating.
Yeah.
But going back to what Magdalena said, because he is Asian and he most likely has encountered situations where people are saying racist remarks to him, like when Timmy or whatever his name was making fun of him for eating dog or whatever. Like, him acting the same way towards Wei Chen almost makes it worse because he has been through that, so he should know, like, this hurts and he shouldn't do this, but then he goes and turns around and does it right back.
I don't think it should be
2-minute
like an
warning, guys.
I like don't think it should be an excuse, like just because he's trying to fit in, or like he's embarrassed of who he is, that he should like put other people down just because of like their culture and whatever. Like that's what racism is. Like despite his motives, that's what he's doing.
To
To answer the second part of this question, like, I don't think he really, like, compares to his classmates, because, like, what everyone's saying, I don't really think he's racist, so I think, like, his classmates are treating him a lot worse. Like, on page 30, like, when his teacher is introducing him, she just assumes he's from China. And then on page 31, Timmy thinks, like, he eats dogs, and, like, Jin Wang never really says that about anyone. And, yeah.
Yeah, those like comments actually had like racist like connotations to it, and I don't think, even though Jin Wang's comments come off as racist, I don't think like deep behind those comments he had like a racist attitude towards Wei Chen.
Does anyone not have something to say?
I guess I'll say one more. So back to when you said something about Danny being the
In
normal
terror of
one.
like Chinky being different?
No, just no, what you said
Oh, gotcha.
about Danny